Hello everyone. As you can see, I am currently recording in the dead of night because, some things came up and I ended up doing this review a lot later than I thought I would. I thought I would immediately upload the previous two and then just go straight into this one. But unfortunately that didn't happen due to technical difficulties and some dumb real life crap. But here we are now. It is literally as dark can get. That little light over there ain't doing nothing. So we are in complete darkness for this review. Literally, the only thing that is allowing you to see me right now is the light of my computer screen. So, with all that said, welcome to the finale of our second Attack on August. With Season 2, Episode 12, aka Episode 37, the Season 2 finale, the final part of the Clash of the Titans arc, titled Scream. And I'm just gonna be blunt. This is the best episode of the season, and it might end up being one of my favorite episodes in all of Attack on Titan. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. Like, yes, there's no smile on my face or anything, but that's just because I'm still processing all the crazy things that happened in this episode. But trust me when I say, I already adore this episode. And it's the one episode of this season that I will say is better than episode 1. So, without further ado or delay, let's not wait any longer. Let's go into our final summary for 2025 and tell you all about the insanity and incredibly masterful foreshadowing of this episode. I hope you enjoy. We're going to keep things downbeat, and I'm going to do my best to try to actually stay in tone. Here we go. Memories of his mother's life and death flash through Aaron's mind. Then the smiling titan that killed her 5 years ago appears on the battlefield. Elsewhere, Reiner continues to throw titans at the retreating scouts. Ymir brawls with the titans, outraged at Commander Erwin's hand and her plan's failure. And the commander is dismounted when she attacks the titan pursuing him. Erwin's scouts attempt to defend him, though Erwin's placing Aaron's life above his own for the sake of the mission, showing that he truly is a soldier to his core. When the smiling titan reaches for Eren and Mikasa, Hans comes to their side, eager to avenge Carla for his inability to confront that titan 5 years ago. Jean and Armin attempt to assist Hans, but Reiner's titan throw prevents them from approaching. Meanwhile, the turn of events has Ymir questioning whether she is better off staying with the warriors or the scouts. While she believes the future of the walls is bleak, now is her only chance to hand Historia over to the warriors. Historia approaches Ymir, saying that she believes that her actions were to protect her and not Ymir, as she had been told. Historia reminds Ymir of her own words and urges her to live for herself, admitting that Ymir's presence inspires courage in her, showing how deep of a connection these two truly have, whether Ymir wants to admit it or not. Together with Connie and Sasha, they team up against the Titans while Hans continues to fight the Smiling Titan. Mikasa, too injured to continue fighting due to her broken ribs, unties Eren's restraints so that Eren can transform and fight the Titan. However, when he bites his still healing hand, he is unable to transform. And the explanation that they give in the anime later is that Eren has worn out his Titan ability for the time being and can't use it, showing that even these Titan hybrids have their limits. Scouts continue to defend Erwin as the armored Titan throws more Titans, dismounting Jean. Armin comes to his side, carrying him away from combat. Eren desperately attempts to trigger this transformation while the Titan devours the scouts, and Hans nearly gains the upper hand over the Smiling Titan, slicing its Achilles tendons and sending it to its knees. Suddenly, though, the Titan catches Hans in its grip, and Eren and Mikasa are unable to stop it as it brings Hans into its mouth, feet first, biting him in half. Yes, Hans, the guy that saved those two all those years ago, killed by the same Titan that killed their mother. Ironic. Eren collapses in anguish, laughing and screaming hysterically at his inability to prevent the tragedies around him, showing that his mental state is breaking. Mikasa consoles him, assuring Eren that he has done much for her. She thanks him for being by her side, showing her how to live, and for giving her his scarf. Finding his resolve, Eren promises that he will wrap his scarf around her as many times as she needs to. And they both just sit on the ground waiting for their inevitable end. Or at least so it seems. As Eren's hand finally heals after he bites it several times, he lets out a scream as he swings his fist into the hand of the Smiling Titan. Suddenly, Reiner, Bertholdt, and Ymir feel a surge of power emanating. As Eren screams, a newfound power comes forth and a Titan tackles the Smiling Titan. Not any of the named Titans, this is an abnormal. The other Titans nearby redirect their attention from the scouts to the Smiling Titan, charging and swarming it before tearing its body to pieces. Yes, the Smiling Titan gets one of the most gruesome on-screen deaths in the entire show up to this point. It's not as gruesome as Michi's, because Michi, he was crying and screaming the whole time as he was ripped apart, but it's still a pretty terrifying end, because this thing is surrounded by its brethren that are under command by Eren's new power, which aka is called Command, as Reiner was theorizing in the previous episode. Anyway, the Smiling Titan's brethren ripping her to shreds. Oh, and we also find out later that this Titan that is devoured by the other Titans is the ex of Eren's father. Yeah, talk about karma. As Eren carries Mikasa away from the scene, the other scouts continue their retreat. Understanding this situation, Ymir realizes that there may yet be a future for the walls. Reiner runs for Eren, recognizing that Eren indeed possesses the coordinate the warriors have been searching for, who Reiner believes he is the worst possible person to possess the power. I mean, considering Eren's anger issues, he's not wrong. Eren cries out to Reiner and Bertholdt, ordering them under threat of death to stay away from him. The coordinate comes forth again in response to Eren's screams, and the Titans devouring the Smiling Titan then turn their attention to Reiner and Bertholdt, charging towards them. Armin brings a horse for Eren and Mikasa, and Commander Erwin orders for a full retreat. As the Titans rush Reiner, Bertholdt cries out in fear as he is unable to defend himself. Ymir hears his cries and stops to look back. Turning to Historia, she gently caresses her hair and apologizes before running for Reiner and Bertholdt. As Historia looks on in confusion, Connie turns her away to join in the retreat. Meanwhile, Ymir aids Reiner in fending off the Titans, and the two warriors are shocked by her sudden change of mind. In other words, she chooses to be with the warriors rather than the scouts in the end. And sadly, as I'm about to tell you at the very end of this summary, this would be the last time that Ymir would ever see Historia. It's a pretty tragic end. We'll talk about it later. As the scouts ride for Walrose through the dusk, Armin is unable to understand Ymir's choice, and Eren thinks back to his childhood with Hans in peaceful times. At night, the warriors and Ymir arrive in the ruins of Shiganshina, exhausted from the past few days. Reiner asks her why she chose to come with them, and Ymir says she wanted to return the favor for their hand in giving her a second chance at life, when she stole the Titan power from their friend. Furthermore, she believes that she is the only one who understands the situation the two are facing. Bertholdt thanks her and apologizes, and Ymir muses that it was not a bad life being a goddess. Yeah, she's hinting that her end is about to come. Refugees from Walrose had been sent to the underground city in Walsina at the outbreak of the Walrose invasion. However, food supplies only guaranteed proper treatment for the refugees for 1 week before the risk of civil conflict began. To prevent this, the military declares Walrose Titan-free 1 week after the start of the outbreak. At this time, Erwin recovers from his injuries in Trost District, accompanied by Commander Pixis and Captain Levi. They are visited by Section Commander Hanji, who brings Connie to inform the others of the Scout Regiment recent findings in Ragako. Elsewhere, Eren comes to terms with the fact that over half of the Scout Regiment's veteran soldiers died just in an attempt to rescue him from the warriors. However, during their final retreat, the Scouts went unhindered by the Titans that continued to chase after Reiner and Bertholdt. Armin informs Eren that he and Jean believe that Eren could be the only one responsible for the sun power which made the Titans obey his will. Jean pities Eren's responsibility, and he reminds him of the effort he must show to prove that the lives lost for his sake were not in vain. Eren understands, vowing to master his power over the Titans and to exact his revenge on the warriors. In Erwin's room, the officers learn that all evidence suggests that the citizens of Ragako were the Titans which invaded Walrose, meaning that the Titans are in fact humans. Every single one of them. Now, not all of them have control over their abilities. Not all of them are like Reiner, Eren, Bertholdt, and Ymir. No. Oh, and Annie. I keep forgetting Annie's in this because she's barely even in the season. But all these Titans, the abnormals and the ones that can actually control their forms, are all human. They're all mutated humans that have been experimented on by a sick, twisted cult. That is a pretty terrifying thought. And I'll admit, I did not see that twist coming. Levi worries at the notion that he has spent his years in the Scouts killing humans all along. Hanji says that they do not have any real proof of the claim. Strangely though, Erwin cannot help but smile at the news, which disturbs Levi further. When asked about his behavior, Erwin stoically states that humanity has come one step closer to the truth. Levi worries that no one will be left to see the full truth in the end, though Erwin is confident in the step they had taken towards breaking down the walls, barring humanity from the truths of the world. Across the land, the Beast Titan waits in Shiganshina, and a bespectacled man, a guy with glasses, stands on his Titan shoulders, patiently anticipating the conflict to come. And this mysterious figure, we will later learn, is named Zeke. I'm not going to say anything more about him because there's going to be plenty more to say about him next season. And that is literally the end of the season. However, I am going to talk about one last thing that this did not go over, and that is the ultimate fate of Ymir. Because this season this finale did not really go over it. But this is the last time in the show that we see Ymir alive. Why? Allow me to explain to you. Once I find her history here. Realizing that Eren's power might guarantee a future for the walls, Ymir looks back to see Reiner and Bertholdt are about to be overwhelmed. She apologizes to Historia and returns to help them, arriving in time to stop a Titan from eating Bertholdt. With her assistance, the three of them make it back to Wall Maria, where Reiner asks her why she came back to them. Ymir calls herself an idiot, but that she will be a souvenir so they do not return empty-handed. If they had not come to break the wall, she never would have awoken from her nightmare. So she is going to return what she borrowed in return. Upon being brought back to Marley by the warriors, Ymir writes a letter for Historia, explaining her past and asks that Reiner deliver it to her when he returns to Paratus Island. After reading the letter, Historia receives a vision of Ymir chained in front of an unidentified person in a cave, similar to the one under the Rice family chapel, which we'll talk about in Season 3. After being brought back to Marley, Ymir willingly allowed herself to be killed and was eaten by Marcel Galliard's brother, Porco, transferring the power of the Jaw Titan to him. Porco mentions that when receiving Ymir's memories, Reiner appeared to be a very different person on Paratus Island rather than on Marley, accusing him of imitating Marcel's warrior-like personality, which Reiner himself does not deny. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll have like a little part about it in a summary about Season 3, but I just thought I'd get it over with now because this is the last time that we actually see Ymir alive. Because it ends with her pretty much sacrificing herself and being eaten alive. Which means that that moment where she apologized to Historia was the final moment she saw her before giving up her life. That's as heavy as it gets, guys. It's sad that that's Ymir's ultimate end and that she's only in this season, but she was a hell of a character, and she did a lot despite only being in 12 episodes of the show. So yeah, that is Ymir's full story, and that is Ymir's ultimate end. Alright, now with that out of the way, now we can talk about our final overall thoughts on this episode, and I will give you my final off-the-cuff thoughts about the season overall. Here we go. What's an insane final episode to end the season on? The brutal death of Hans, Eren unable to transform into his Titan after wearing out his abilities, Mikasa thanking him for saving her so many times, Sean almost dying, Ymir leaving Historia to save Reiner and Bertholdt and ultimately ending her own life for it, Ymir revealing herself as a goddess, the terrifying revelation of all the Titans being the people from Connie's village, Eren unlocking a new ability to command the Titans, the Smiling Titan's satisfyingly gruesome demise after all of the horror that it has inflicted, and a hint of who the Beast Titan really is. It is by far the best episode of the season, as it both ends the Clash of the Titans arc strong and foreshadows what's to come in Season 3. One of the best episodes in the entire series. And I have a feeling no matter how much I like or dislike Season 3 and 4, that's not going to change. So, that would mean that the final verdict for Season 2 finale, aka Episode 37, Scream, the final part of the Clash of the Titans arc in the final episode of Season 2 of Attack on Titan, is an 11 out of 10. It is a masterpiece of animation, plain and simple. It's a masterpiece of animation, it's a masterpiece of storytelling, and it leaves plenty of intrigue for what's to come in the next 2 seasons. Now, as for the season overall, it was definitely a bit of a bumpy ride at times. There were a few moments where I did end up losing a little bit of faith in it, and where I thought that it would not reach the highs from Season 1, despite Season 1's obvious numerous problems. But, thankfully, that ended up not being the case. Yes, it got really rough around the middle with some really piss-poor exposition dumping episodes, but once it took those and threw them out and got back on track, it delivered a hell of a finale. Now, I can't say it's better than the finale of Season 1 with the Assault on Stohess arc, but I can definitely say that it is still a very satisfactory conclusion to a very interesting, bloody, brutal, and very intense saga. So, yeah, it's the shortest season of Attack on Titan. It's a very strong season of Attack on Titan. And it is a season that, despite its faults, I'm still overall very positive on. Now, I can't say off the top of my head whether or not I like it more than Season 1, because I forget what I gave Season 1 ultimately at the end of that review. So, I'll just say for now that in terms of Season 2 overall, factoring in all the pros, the strong first half it had, the really, really shitty middle that it had, and then the strong ending that it had, it all boils down to a final verdict of a 9 out of 10 for Season 2. Yes, a 9 out of 10. Despite my bitching about the exposition dumping and 2 of the episodes in the back half of this season being not terrible, but being really boring, the rest is more than enough to carry it, and those first 6 episodes just, my lord, some of the most intense, brutal shit that I have ever seen in any anime. And I'm starting to realize now why AOT is such a beloved heavy hitter in the world of anime, because it's one of those that's just unique and unlike anything else out there. So, that's it. That is it for this second Attack on August chapter. That is it for Season 2 of Attack on Titan, and that is the end of the Clash of the Titans arc of Attack on Titan. So, thank you guys so much for watching all of these reviews. I know that 2 of them were pretty negative, but trust me when I say I do still really, really like this show. I just think that it still has a lot of issues and kinks that it needs to sort out. But when the show was strong, it was really damn strong. And this second season, especially kicking off with the most brutal death in the entire show, yeah, it definitely had me pretty excited to go through it. And despite having a really shitty middle, having the beginning half and the later few of the back half all being great, definitely saves it from its very few sins. It is a damn good season, and even though my problems with the pacing in those other 2 episodes I really don't like, and Levi being sidelined the entire season, the rest of it is really, really damn good. So seriously, if you have not seen this show yet, you need to watch it now. Once you get through all the exposition dumping, you're in for a damn good show. Plain and simple. Well, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this almost every single day. And, yeah, this is the last time we're talking about Attack on Titan until 2026 when we cover Season 3. It has been quite a journey. It was definitely a shorter journey than last time, but still a pretty long journey regardless. So, thank you all so much for coming along with me on this ride. Thank you so much for showing so much love and support to all these Attack on Titan reviews. It's one of those animes that I've always been curious about, and I'm thankful that thanks to this channel, I'm finally checking it out for the first time. So, yep, we may be done with Attack on Titan, but we are not done with August quite yet. There's still a few things. But yes, content is going to slow down the channel a little bit because there's some things going on in real life, and I also need some time to recharge because September is going to drive me fucking insane because there's so much stuff that is planned for September I can't even begin to tell you. So, yep, what'll happen next? Well, I will tell you all about next time when we begin looking at another anime. This time, season by season, not episode by episode, so it's going to be a lot shorter. I'll see you guys next time when we tackle a more modern anime, and a very curious one that I've always wanted to share my thoughts on, with Dr. Stone. Or if you're watching this in the future, see you next time in 2026 for Attack on Titan Season 3. See ya.